think we kind of like block his way because there's no way out.
Oh yeah.
在整个那种冰山环绕的那种样子，然后很安静，偶尔会有冰块咔咔咔那种声音，冰箱会有这样的声音。对，我觉得那个是那种极静，是我真的是喜欢的。我不是一个喜欢用手机、电脑、网络型的人。
Sylvie, the first female Taiwanese polar explorer.
我很 enjoy 一个人的孤独，但我不认为这叫孤单。当我在旅行的时候啊，我不确定我是不是在学习，但我一直觉得是一个很新奇，我每天都有好特别的东西出现。对我喜欢那种感觉。
When you think of the polar regions, what do you envision? A polar explorer, a woman who sees traveling the world as a way of life and considers any place that brings peace to mind and body as home. That person is Sylvie Chen. She embodies the role of a new nomadic people and a global citizen, proving that women don't have to be confined to a stereotype. As a polar explorer, she works even harder to emphasize the importance of caring for the planet. Let's delve into the life of the first Taiwanese female polar explorer, Sylvie Chen. She is Sylvie Chen. For her, polar exploration is both work and pleasure.
Oh, wow.
Too late. 在整个那种冰山环绕的那种样子，然后很安静。偶尔会有冰块咔咔咔那种声音，冰箱会有这样的声音。对，我觉得那个是那种极静，是我真的是喜欢的。我不是一个喜欢用手机、电脑、网络型的人，对，所以我觉得那个 moment 是我好爱好爱。我很 enjoy 一个人的孤独，但我不认为这叫孤单。对，我是很 enjoy 可以自己一个人的。
As someone who enjoys solitude and values being alone, working as a polar explorer allows her to embrace the crowd while relishing moments of seclusion.
当我今天来到极地，第一次去极地，我发觉哇，因为当你登陆到南极的登陆点的时候，没有其他的，你只有企鹅跟其他的生物，再来就是你那艘船的人。那因为南极有一个很重要的规定，是它每个登陆点只能上去100个人，所以其实当今天这么广阔的一个登陆点的时候，其实你说这100人分布在上面，你真的是也看不到他们啦。对，我很 enjoy 那个过程。But you know what? I think we kind of like block his way because there's no way out.
Oh yeah. Et lækkert billede det her, hvis du kommer herover, gør. Vi driver vel lige så stille der, ikke?
Polar expeditions from the Arctic to the Antarctic offer her two distinctly different experiences. In leading tourist expeditions, Sylvie hopes that beyond appreciating the stunning landscapes, people will transform their awe into respect for ecology and the environment, planting another seed for environmental protection.
And maybe tomorrow, when we have the cruising, we can try, because we take 10 people in the boat, that you see that you have 9 and you, so that the most have a translator. That will be appreciated.
Yeah, okay. I will find some of my group.
Becoming a polar expedition member seemed both accidental and inevitable for Sylvie, who has always been drawn to novelty since childhood. Traveling allows her to see the world and explore new things under the sun.
这就是为什么我在2012年第一次去南极之后，13年我就离开了台湾的一个职场生涯嘛。因为我觉得我在台湾从小到大，我其实坦白讲，我不是不爱国。但我真的觉得我在台湾，在亚洲这个教育里面啊，我都一直觉得我好像被困住了，所以我从小我就想离开台湾。当我在旅行的时候啊，我一直在看到不同的，可能我在看不同的情况的时候，别人也会，我自己等于是在学习。我不确定我是不是在学习，但我一直觉得是一个很新奇，我每天都有好特别的东西出现。对，我喜欢那种感觉。
In polar expeditions, gender differences exist, and there is a clear hierarchy on cruise ships, with positions like captain still predominantly held by men. In emergency situations in the wild, men generally have a physical advantage over women. However, during long voyages and extended durations in polar exploration, women sometimes excel over men in areas such as professional knowledge, interpersonal communication, and reliability.
在极地工作的话，当然，我觉得在船上工作，很多时候大家会觉得他是一个男性比较权力比较高的，所以女生你可能要更努力，对，更强，强不强势是不一定，但是你一定要更努力，人家才看得到你。但是我觉得，在大队长安雅他的底下，我一直都在他底下做探险队员嘛，我看到的是，他其实他讲话让人家就是有个想要信任他，然后，很温和。他不是用强势的方式，他其实很温和，他跟你沟通。但是在沟通当中，其实他给你的也是一个，你最好还是接受他好了。对，做任何事情我没有特别去想说我自己是个女的，我会有什么优势？坦白讲没有，因为我的个性从小到大比较要强，所以我觉得只要是我想做，我管他是男的女的，我就是要做。所以我比较不会去想说，这个东西，我这个身为女性我没有优势在，比较没有。但而且再加上原生家庭，还有我整个人生当中好了，其实女性的贵人真的还蛮多的。对，不管是我的原生家庭女性主义稍微高涨一点点，然后到我的求职生涯里头，其实女性像我第一次成为探险队员的时候，其实是女生的探险大队长，德国的女生探险大队长，她把我邀请入职的。
Since high school, Sylvie has been venturing beyond Taiwan. And during college, she worked in France, marking the beginning of her journey as a global citizen.
这是老板家和要到马赛，学校是在埃中佛。这本绿色的是2002，这是当时候也在法国的时候，我那时候在那边学做菜，就是从大一下开始去，每年暑假都在那，然后在那边学，有意大利马铃薯条、法文啊，这全部都是法文的笔记，对，然后也有写中文，
都还留着。
都还留着，然后当时候的简报，自己在那边念，就是稍微还是学习一下。第一次去法国的，就是手写笔记在太行上写的。我不知道是因为这个时候开始吧，就坐飞机的时候不是会有呕吐袋嘛，然后因为没有特别带笔记本，那我喜欢手写，几乎各大航空的呕吐袋都有被我拿出来当做笔记在写。
Each time Sylvie arrives in a new country, she adopts a new language, tearing off labels and redefining herself time and time again.
旅行跟你今天在那个地方生活是两码子的事情，对，所以我觉得我会讲旅居，动力在哪里哦？我觉得每一次出去，第一个就好像那个角色扮演，对，出去的时候。你就不是 Sylvie Chen， 应该我还是 Sylvie Chen，因为每个人还是叫我这个名字，但你就不是台湾的一个陈千华。Anyway， 任何一个角色，我出去的时候，反正别人不认识我，我高兴成为什么就成为什么。我在每个国家讲不同的语言，可以不同的形象出现。对，所以我觉得，所以之前很多人不知道我到底实际工作是什么，他们只觉得你这样飞来飞去。
Turning travel into a career gives Sylvie a reason never to stay put and to explore the world.
我的确蛮在意别人的说法，即使我根本不认识那些人。我觉得这跟我好胜心很强的这种个性有相关。我不容许别人说，如果我真的不好，你跟我讲，我可以改。但如果我觉得你今天误会我了，我实在没办法接受。可是到了国外之后，我100%认定，谁管我是谁啊？对吧？这样让我压力减轻很多。所以我会觉得在国外是真实的我，因为我很 relax。角度有残酷，为什么人你要永远被锁死在一个地方？最早期的我有一点，因为我不喜欢亚洲的就是台湾的这种生活的形态，我想出走，我想要找寻合法的离家出走。这我姐讲的。
Sylvie describes her lifestyle as that of a global citizen. Germany, France, the UK, and Canada serve as her resting places, and she spends over half the year pursuing every country and city under the sun, embodying her new nomadic existence of having no fixed abode. A veteran in the travel industry who guided her along this path once described this remarkable woman as bird-like.
像那个飞出去的鸟，就到处去寻觅，到处去寻觅，它很厉害。我就发觉哦，最后我很诧异，它可以安定的在加拿大，因为它目标方法想了，它就针对。所以我觉得是她其实她外表像一个那个小女孩，可是她其实内心躲了一个大老鹰，你知道吗？而且她都故意用那个猫头鹰的方式，看起来好像没有什么攻击力，但是她眼睛是很犀利的，她决定要什么样的，然后义无反顾的去，她很可怕，她是 没有那种危机意识，他只有说好我要去，他也不管他，搞不好那个他就是跳个悬崖式看看他也敢去的人。
这一点有点像。
他让我很诧异，就说他可以这样子好好的学习，然后一步一步我带这样的一个人，我就觉得。哇，那时候我也很有成就感，我觉得哦，好棒哦！你这样鼓励他，你只要轻轻的碰他一下而已哦，他冲得好快啊，真的。
Living such a life is also rooted in the solid foundation laid during her youth, with proficiency in English, German, and French languages, along with a touch of a carefree personality.
刚好遇到第一个主管，就是我在业务部门第一个主管，我就觉得。当时候他让我在他面前这样子，真的是 training 的时候，但那个有压力。可是我自己现在这样想起来，我就觉得就是要这样做啊。
因为 SARS
影响
那个状况很影响很大，然后他出去到底好不好？然后他就很犹豫啊。那我觉得他从他以前的养分，我讲的养分，就他已经在欧洲那些环境这样生存，我就说你应该出去，好特别的一个女孩子，好。其实她的外表没有杀伤力，也没有那种所谓的女强人的那种犀利，可是她就很懂得把自己安排。她做事的以前我会觉得，哎，她好像少了一根筋，她对外界的东西都少了一根筋。可是看她在做事，我觉得她就这样一步一步，甚至资料的整理都非常清楚。所以我觉得她算是这新一代的。女强人完全没有那个强的外表。
Sylvie, the first female Taiwanese polar explorer, embarked on her inaugural South Pole expedition in 2012. She describes how polar exploration differs from other types of travel by emphasizing ecological awareness, minimal environmental impact, and the challenges of harsh conditions, unpredictable weather, and managing social dynamics during long journeys.
在船上的工作是以英文为主，你还会有来自世界各地的客人。那我本身以前是念法语的，外语的确是给我带来在旅游业这个工作里面很大的一个优势在。极地旅游的一些生态上面的知识啊，或什么，坦白说，华语的探险队员里面基本上真的没有所谓的是本科出来的，念什么生物，对海洋生物啊，或者冰川学、地质学，我们不像外国的同事，所以这一块其实就真的是我们靠我们在船上不断的去听取我们自己同事的一些讲座，然后我们就自己要去做笔记。另外一个比较硬实力的话，可能就是比如说你要学会开船。
By witnessing the beauty of the polar regions and understanding the impact greenhouse gas emissions have on these delicate ecosystems, participating in polar exploration tours has provided valuable feedback and made her aware of her responsibility as a global citizen. She chooses to promote environmental education in a different way, focusing her efforts on sustainability and environmental conservation. No matter how far or high she flies, she never forgets the way back home. Home remains the wellspring of strength that fuels her daring journeys across the world.
脚要踩哪里？那屁股是低的还是高高的？好，珊珊老师要10到15不可以掉下来。
As a polar explorer and a global citizen, Sylvie is also a mother.
是去找北极熊这个是冰块，对，它是好大好大的冰块，它叫冰山。对。
Through illustrated books, she intertwines her first-hand experiences as a polar explorer with knowledge about climate change and polar ecosystems, passing on these insights and nourishment to the next generation, bit by bit, through everyday life. Sylvie, who cherishes freedom, never thought she would marry, but then she met Jonas Boto, a digital nomad in IT who shares the same love for travel, having visited hundreds of cities in over 20 countries. He ultimately settled in Taiwan and fell in love with this Taiwanese woman.
每个人都是很 weird， 很奇怪的。然后呢，整个世界也是很奇怪。当你今天如果在一个奇怪的世界里发现一个奇怪的人跟你认为奇怪的事情有共通点的时候，那就继续走下去，这是一个美好的事情。我觉得我刚好遇到别人眼中，我老公在别人眼中也是属于怪咖，然后我们两个怪咖碰在一起，发觉我喜欢的东西跟你喜欢的东西，我们俩是一样的。可是别人都会觉得，怎么会有人喜欢这样子飘来飘去的啊？什么？从小到大，我没有认为女生一定要结婚，女生一定要去生孩子才叫做一个完整的女性。所以，既然不是我必要做的事情，我当然不是很 care， 对。可是也真的因为反正遇到了我先生，然后他也真的很适合去成立家庭的另外一半。那我觉得可以考虑，因为他太小孩了。因为疫情，我们有时间跟有比较 relax 的心情。疫情第1年就怀孕，疫情第2年生了个孩子，然后刚好可以养小孩。那你要说什么？我帮你保管，你一句话都不说。
谢谢。
谁？
谢谢妈妈。
是我当妈的都会想啊，就是你很想要，你看到一个小的你出生。因为他的个性跟我实在是太像了，我终于能理解到我妈当初的辛苦了。当你已经有一个非常好动的女儿，主见太多的女儿的时候，其实对其实我希望我的小孩真的是这样子，好动，然后很活泼，然后喜欢去尝试很多不同的事情。可是当这种小孩的爸妈的时候，其实真的很辛苦。
Enjoying a nomadic life as global citizens with workplaces around the world, this couple manages their life together and raises their children by balancing their responsibilities, respecting gender equality.
Power balance between the man and the woman in the relationship.
Yeah.
Like someone is making more money and then the other one has to take care of the kids, right? And again, in our case, that's not like that.
Yeah, it's true.
So
and plus,
that's why the answer
you are the nana.
It's different.
You are our sister.
The Saturday is not a big deal. We already have one activity. We have friends we can visit. It's just one day a week. It's not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
If there's really only
like a COVID time.
That COVID time was hard, yeah.
And just only Lena.
Just Lena and us in the house and no friends, and we're too boring.
Transitioning from being an individual to a family, the next destination of wandering involved embarking on a year-long journey across Europe, immersing deeply in various cultures.
Switch our long stay European life from Airbnb
to
like a camper van.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
It doesn't make a difference to me.
We can totally just put something simple at the camper van. We can easily to move around. We want Lena to see more different stuff, different culture.
To be fair, we don't know if it's going to work, but it's worth a try.
Yeah, worth to try.
It's kind of the point, right?
I try to have fun.
There's only one way to find out. You just go there and you see what's going to happen, and it turns out that it's all.
If it's not good, we just stop the camper van.
Sure.
Oh, then this is Annie. Annie 阿姨。
我是谁？
阿布。
爸爸嘞？爸爸。哦。
German, English, French, Mandarin, and Taiwanese are all effortlessly interwoven into daily communication of this family.
Go! 宝贝！
我就怕他危险，他那个。你那个时候有一阵那个什么大学跟大学，等一下。他怕交错朋友。
Raising a daughter who embodies the role of a global citizen, Sylvie's mother often finds it hard to keep track of whether her daughter is to the left or right of the international date line. However, she trusts that her daughter always has firm goals, plans ahead, and can take care of herself. Sylvie's mother believes her role is to let her child freely explore the world while ensuring there's always a home waiting for her.
伊较会家己规划要创啥，就较袂去烦恼伊有无代志啊。惯势啊，因为毕竟就是因为伊出门就是拢较久嘛，所以变成这个习惯性，想讲你去甲第，我重点拢是放伫迄个你平安无代志就好啊。
我儿子
我唔知去南极、北极，我都唔知去南极、北极到底是我危险啊！以前资讯又没有那么发达，我妈讲以前跟今麦啦，有很多人也不知道那个北极、南极是最近有无？这几年啊，电视直直咧报啦，什么有无水迄个冰块怎么讲？较早讲这南北极，了恁姐还咧跑来跟我讲，啊恁查囝毋是伫咧对吗？会危险的，我无即摆伫台湾。伊家己若是看那做，家己平安顺利就好啊。啊，你到这个时阵已经40外啦，啊，若是讲走到一段路会当平静下来，你要叫拢停来啊，还没那么早可以他停下来啦。
Sylvie also deals with concerns and ties of family. She describes herself as a banana, yellow on the outside, with Western thinking on the inside. This cultural duality sometimes leads to conflicts with her Taiwanese family. Concerns for her safety expressed by her mother can sometimes come across as hurtful.
伊就出去啦，咱就甲伊讲啊，做啊你出门要甲底爱小讲一下吼。啊像你拄仔讲，迄讲啊，你也发早讲你一地我通去休息，这个我万只有这句话讲出来，因拢会记的，我都唔知啊。
他就一直说我是因为骨子里认定，就是出了什么事情，对，就是没有后顾之忧这一件事。但是我觉得我没有这么自私吧，所以我不是因为
你自私，是你自己想法。你自己的观念、想法就这样子按的。
我并不是因为这样，所以我才会就恣意妄为的这样。
刚刚想讲啊，你都无免考虑什么代志，我会家己来去那做安尼。
我的想法是，你要烦的人那么多，你不要烦我，少一个烦的人，是不是？你审视，我也是10几年后看了那个电影之后，我才惊觉审视一下，哦天哪，原来。对，如果我今天我在国外发生什么事情的话，别人不知道我在哪里的时候，的确收尸要去哪收。30多岁之后，我的确有的时候会把我的班表给我妹妹。
No matter how far she travels, the lessons and beliefs her mother instilled in her to be honest and upright are deeply ingrained in Sylvie. She integrates these values into her life, using them as a source of nourishment for educating the next generation. 爱有自信，爱互人袂使黑白来，爱互人有一个好的迄个，敢若讲诚实安尼，袂使讲，嘿啊，袂使安尼讲黑白迄个来安尼。In response to the rapid changes in global tourism, she chose to return to Taiwanese academia. There, she received joint guidance from internationally renowned marine tourism scholar Gen Yangming and Professor Cai Fengming from the Department of Maritime Administration at National Taiwan Ocean University. This allowed her to accumulate new insights for navigating the world, seeing the wonderful world that knowledge brings.
来说明说，台湾在这个整个极地的这个
瞬间有增长上来，你觉得可以吗？
可以啊，可以啊，可以啊。那你要不要把是比如说全世界这个极地的这个邮轮品牌那个旅游产品，那卖的比较好的国家，你就从这个总数来用就可以了。我接触 Sylvie 之后呢，我觉得非常不容易的地方是因为她很年轻。那在这么年轻就知道自己怎么样去规划自己人生的一个方向，然后呢又愿意再回到学校来做这个所谓的专业知识的一个加强。对于邮轮产业，他也想好未来他就是要来推广在大中华市场，就尤其是极地邮轮的这个市场。所以我认为这个非常不容易啦尤其是像在这么竞争的这个邮轮的一个环境这个产业的一个环境，那女性能做这么大的一个这么好的一个表现真的非常不容易。在这个全球化的一个考量之下呢如何把你的一个特色你的一个专长能表现出来那我想 Sylvie 就是一个很好的一个例子。对，1、2、3。
Sylvie often faces challenges. Her motto when encountering setbacks is, "If you can't change others, adjust yourself." I travel, therefore I exist. Sylvie navigates between the roles of an Eastern woman and a global citizen, with the clear GPS guiding her life's trajectory. She aims to broaden women's perspectives by emphasizing the importance of being responsible for oneself and realizing the value of one's own existence. Chasing the light, she refuses to be confined by external labels, crafting her own metaphorical shoes to forge her way. From in her shoes to in my own shoes, Sylvie is the embodiment of a global citizen. Through the role and identity of Taiwan's first female polar explorer, she allows people to see the diverse facets of women that can be revealed by the light of the polar regions. Thank you for watching today's program.